In the news this week, new shark mitigation strategy launched as the state government seek alternative solutions.
4 big banks warn the federal government over new bank taxes, and classic event launched on Mother's Day to raise awareness for breast cancer.
This is the Evening News with Ivan Leung and Danielle Staniskov.
Good evening. A new raft of shark prevention strategy has been launched by the government in an attempt to keep swimmers and surfers safe in the water. Reporter Elise Simic has more on this. Elise, this move certainly marks a major step for the government to prevent shark attacks.
Well, Ivan, one of the main goals is to keep families safe, so the government has come up with 3 new ways to prevent shark attacks. One of these initiatives is to create beach enclosures at certain beaches in WA. Falcon Bay in Mandurah is set to get one after surfer Ben Gehring died last year after being mauled by a shark there. The Minister also announced $6 million in funding for surf life saving.
We should try as best as possible to keep politics out of this, to try and base our policy on science and not try and make this a partisan issue.
The government is offering a $200 subsidy on 1,000 individual shark deterrent devices, which will help surfers and divers who are outside the beach enclosures. Ben Gehring's brother worked with the government to develop these new initiatives.
That enclosure there is fantastic. It's something that our local community pushed hard with after the attack.
The government is hopeful these new initiatives will work to prevent other shark-related tragedies from happening in our waters. Danielle, it's back to you.
Thank you, Elise. After Treasurer Scott Morrison unveiled the federal budget, opposition leader Bill Shorten criticised the policy, saying it fails a fairness test. Although Labor will not block the Liberal $6.2 billion new banking tax, Mr Shorten says the public should hold the Treasurer to account for any increase in banking costs.
We are worried that the weakness at the core of this government will turn a $6 billion tax on the banks into a $6 billion charge on every Australian with a bank account.
Political commentator Christopher May joins us now. Chris, the banks are certainly not happy with the tax. Do you believe the public will be slugged again indirectly?
Well, a couple of things. Firstly, the banks are happy to put up rates and fees anyway, and I don't see that changing regardless of any small additional tax placed on them. Secondly, since 2009, taxpayers have been guaranteeing bank deposits. They are the country's most profitable businesses, and that's a good thing, but they shouldn't be immune from contributing to fixing Kevin Rudd and Wayne Swan's debt and deficit legacy.
The Medicare levy is also a concern. Do you think people will mind the increase if it funds NDIS?
Given the budget situation, a small Medicare levy increase seems fair to fund the NDIS, which is essentially an extension of Medicare into disability care services. If everyone benefits from what is essentially public health insurance for sickness and disability, I think most people will find it palatable that they pay what they can afford into the system.
Christopher May, thank you.
Always a pleasure, Danielle.
The gloves are off for Guildford residents who are fighting against the new McDonald's being built in their suburb. This week, petitions were handed in before the City Council's consultation period deadline. The campaign spokeswoman says the new McDonald's will damage the town's heritage.
This is a grassroots campaign. I'm a mother of young children. I'm fighting this together with 3 other mothers. We are doing this for the future of our children, for the future of Guildford. We are asking for intervention from the government to stop this happening. Unfortunately, nobody says they can help.
Well, it's a farewell bid for Greens Upper House MP Lynn McLaren as she leaves Parliament, following her loss on the state election in March. Many local residents thank the outgoing Popular MP for her unconditional support over the past few years.
I do appreciate all the support that people are expressing for me, and I share their dismay and their disappointment that I'm not there for the next 4 years.
The outgoing Upper House MP will be hosting a farewell party in Fremantle later this week. Over 8,000 signatures were submitted following this week's pro-Row 8 protest. The state opposition rejected the new government's claim that Fremantle Port is reaching full capacity. Residents who attended the rally stated that they are fed up with the number of trucks on Leach Highway, not to mention the traffic congestion in the area. However, the Premier argued that voters gave Labor a mandate to cancel the project back in March.
It passed the EPA, it passed the Supreme Court, it passed the Appeal Court, it passed the High Court, it passed every hurdle they put in front of it. It is necessary. And now McGowan has no excuse, money or otherwise, for not building this road.
Cyber attacks have crippled hospitals in the United Kingdom this week, forcing the National Health Service to turn away patients and cancelling appointments. It's reported that NHS hospitals were hit with ransomware which infects and locks computers. So far, at least 16 NHS branches have been hit, but the Health Department denied that NHS has been targeted specifically. US President Donald Trump stated that he was going to fire FBI Director James Comey regardless of recommendations during an interview on NBC. Mr. Trump labelled the former director as a showboat and a grandstander, while Vice President Mike Pence says Mr. Trump made the right decision at the right time.
And finally this week, the annual national campaign against breast cancer has been launched on Mother's Day. Langley Park has been filled with participants paying tribute to their loved ones who've lost to or currently fighting breast cancer. The national event has attracted more than 100,000 people to attend last year and raised $30.4 million since 1998. And from all of us here at WMN News, we wish all the mothers out there a happy Mother's Day. And those are the top stories you need to know this week.
We have the latest news on our website and Facebook. Have a good evening.
Good night.